going on, Jeromes? So we all know that Harrison Smith is one of the greatest safeties in NFL history. Frankly, he should be a Hall of Famer, but the national media jabroni haircuts, and so we rally against the national media jabroni haircuts from time to time. Sometimes it's tongue-in-cheek, but sometimes it's legit, where Harrison consistently being disrespected, especially for the AP All-Pro teams, which is the All-Pro teams of note, as well as the NFL All-Decade team for the 2010s. Like, that matters. When it comes to legacy, when it comes to getting in the Hall of Fame, that certainly does matter. But Harrison Smith has been a 6-time Pro Bowler, 1-time first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team. Again, should have been at least 3 or 4, but it is what it is. And Harrison is that perfect blend of Paul Krause, who also wore the double deuce for the Vikings, as well as Joey Browner. He had range. He could hit. He could do everything, man. And Harrison, as of right now, like, he's one of the greatest of all time. And he's future Vikings Ring of Honor. Again, should be in the Hall of Fame. And sort of it is what it is right now. Long story longer. Will Harrison Smith retire this offseason? Because he does turn 35 in February, and it's not like he had a bad year, but was he up there in terms of Harrison Smith levels? Probably not. But also, you look back and at Harrison Smith, could you say that he was still a top 25 safety in the league? Yes. And in a defense which featured multiple safeties with Josh Metellus and Cam Beasley, Harrison Smith still played a strong role, so it's not like he was a liability out there. And frankly, if he wanted to return next year, the Vikings can find a spot for him. Or, I mean, if Harrison is let go by the Vikings and he wants to try his hand somewhere else, I mean, I would understand, you know. And Harrison, last offseason, respect, he took a pretty massive pay cut from around $14 million down to $8 million with incentives. And next year, he is going to be due a $14.4 million base salary. So if he is going to be back for his 35 age year, probably going to have some contract adjustments. And Harrison said after the season that he's going to have a long time to think about it. And things have changed in Harrison's life, where he's been football, but he's married, he's got kids now, he's got other interests outside of the game, and as you get older, things change, right? And Harrison, if he's dialed in, he wants to play another year, I would love to have him back on the Vikings if the price is right, but we'll see what happens. Now, again, this is another long way of getting into, is Harrison Smith setting himself up for his second act? And, that's the problem, where professional athletes, where they're done with their careers, whether they retire or, really unfortunately, if it's an injury that ends it, you see this a lot too with members of the military, where they get out, where everything is all in on their chosen profession, whether it be in the military or whether it be professional athletes. Everything is all in all the time for the profession. Then all of a sudden, you don't have your routine, you don't have your teammates, you don't have your support system, you got nothing. And sometimes people struggle, and you have to find your next mission. You have to find what's next. And Harrison Smith, is he setting up a potential move to get into the booth, to be an analyst, to be in TV? I think it's possible, man. So maybe this is just a long way of connecting the dots and reading the tea leaves. But Harrison Smith, so Harrison is not very active on social media, right? Whether it be the Twitter machine, whether it be Instagram, whether it be whatever. Like, occasionally he'll just post, like, if one of his teammates gets NFC Defensive Player of the Week, or some Pro Bowl nods or some love and stuff, and just quick little reposts, all that stuff. But Harrison got pretty active on Twitter last night, and was engaging, was giving his opinion, and Harrison had never done that before. So that's what makes you raise an eyebrow a little bit, where Harrison, he's mild-mannered, he's soft-spoken, and he never really mixed it up on social media. But was that because that's his personality, or was it because he was dialed in to be a professional football player? But now maybe that door is closed, and maybe he's just like, I have all this knowledge. I'm also pretty damn handsome. I would look good on camera, and I have to start expressing myself and my opinions about things, and that could be valuable. Because let's face it, I mean, Tony Romo getting $20 million a year to not watch games and just sort of show up and not do prep work. I mean, that's pretty damn good, man. And there's a reason why so many former players and so many former coaches want to get into calling games on the road, want to get into studio analyst work. Like, they want that Jimmy Johnson, Michael Strahan, Terry Bradshaw role, because it's really good money, It's seasonal work at the end of the day, and also it keeps you involved in the game that you love. And it still gives you purpose in your life, and you're still earning, right? And frankly, I mean, some of these guys on TV that have been there a long time, especially guys that played way back in the day, I mean, they're making way more money on TV than they ever did as a player. It's kind of crazy, man. But again, this is all just connecting dots. But Harrison sharing his opinion. In the Bills-Steelers game, there was a play where Connor McGovern ran up behind JPJ, Joe Porter Jr., hit him in the back of the helmet, knocked him out with a concussion. No flag, no foul, no anything. But so Harrison, of course, being a DB, he's got some opinions on it. This type of hit is encouraged in offensive line rooms. It won't be flagged as long as it occurs near a ball carrier fighting for yardage. O-line tight ends hit like this in every game. Not hating on offense. I get trying to help the ball carrier advance. However, modern era got to be addressed. And, I mean, it was a cheap way for the Bills to take the Steelers' best cornerback out of the game. Yeah, and it sucks. Was it intentional? Probably not. Is it borderline? Yes, it certainly is. Then Harrison got into it. Well, not got it, like, it was very respectful from Harrison's point of view, and they were talking about, they're talking about Kirby Joseph and his hit on Hawkinson, of course, Harrison's teammate, and then of course the hit on Tyler Higbee in the wild card round. And I mean, Harrison's a defensive back, and Harrison's been a DB in the NFL since 2012. So he's gone through different eras where basically old school football back in the day, and then all of the different eras where you can't hit him up high, you can't hit him up low, you can't lead with your helmet, you can't barely lead with shoulder nowadays. So Harrison's seen it all, man. But again, it's so damn funny too. Like, if you comb through the replies, how many people were actually just like trying to explain to Harrison Smith how to tackle? Which is just glorious, man. But Harrison, talk about the Kirby hits. They aren't very similar plays. Do I like the Joseph hits? No, but coach him up. What would you recommend he do? And also, I like that. I feel again, it's hard to tell from tone from text, but it doesn't seem snarky. It doesn't sound dismissive. It doesn't sound like he's talking down to someone. Like, it's genuinely a conversation, and I feel like that sort of nuance has been lost in modern society, but that's a conversation for another day. The rules have encouraged more hits like this from the DB position. Most effective way to protect that area of the field without penalty. I don't like it either. So when you have a defensive back telling you he doesn't like having to go low on larger tight ends, larger wide receivers coming over the middle of the field, I mean, that should be telling you something. All right, and then gets into the whole tackling thing. Harrison at the bottom. So hit him in the same spot in the same manner, but wrap up. Would that make the tackle safer, more effective? What's the incentive for the defensive player to change his actions? This isn't a Vikings-Lions thing, just a football convo. So, again, this is something that Harrison Smith has never done before. Like, he hasn't really gotten on social media and expressed opinions. He hasn't really engaged with fans. I'm not saying that's good, bad, or otherwise, but it's definitely a change. And I love the tone and tact that Harrison Smith brought to the table, where he wants to have a conversation, as opposed to, I play ball for a living, so I know way more than you. So again, I think Harrison Smith is going to retire. Like, if I was a betting man, I would put a couple jelly beans on Harrison Smith, saying, you know what? It's been real. It's been fun. My body is beaten up. I got a family. Would love to spend more time with them. And if I can transition to the booth and have a second act and have a second mission and have a second career there, I'm all for it, man. And I think Harrison Smith will be dynamite, man. Any way to get Jonathan Vilma off my freaking TV. That's all I want, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Harrison Smith, is he prepping for TV work? Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.